Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving headfirst into a really profound philosophical framework. It's one that connects our simplest, everyday observations of the physical world with a much higher, integrated purpose. I mean, we're all out here trying to make sense of our surroundings, right? But today's source material argues that knowledge isn't just a giant pile of data, it's actually a monumental bridge connecting nature, the mind, and the divine. We are going to explore the concept of Ilim, not just as a vocabulary word, but as a completely comprehensive way to read the universe, and really, to read ourselves. So let's start this fascinating mental journey.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with giving due rights, move into the ultimate right, then hit true information, achieving awareness, unifying knowledge, and finally, we'll wrap up with the holistic mind. Let's jump right in. All right, Section 1, Giving Due Rights. This is all about finding the underlying purpose in absolutely everything. So let's start with a foundational concept from our source text, giving things their due right. Now, obviously, this applies to our basic senses, like our ears having the right to hear. But it also applies to the mundane, everyday objects around us. Think about a simple light bulb. Fulfilling its due right actually connects you to this massive, invisible network. When you turn on that light, you're connecting the bulb to the house's wiring, the wiring to the city's electrical grid, the grid to those huge high-tension wires crossing mountains, and those wires right back to the dams. And it doesn't stop there. The dams rely on water from the mountains, which comes from the rain, which comes from the clouds, which ultimately leads us all the way back to the creator of it all. So fulfilling the right of just one simple thing intricately ties you to the entire universe. It's like a giant puzzle.
And tracing that massive chain backward naturally brings us to Section 2. The ultimate right, where we look for the ultimate source. By zooming out like that, we realize the greatest, right at the very origin of this immense chain, belongs to the Creator. But how do we actually fulfill that ultimate right? Well, by striving to understand. It just doesn't happen without deep, intentional comprehension. And the intellect's very first tool for unlocking this kind of understanding is asking the absolute most fundamental question we have: why? Because if we don't ask why, we can never reach the wisdom behind the mechanism. To actually reach that level of profound understanding, our source material introduces a brilliant four-step mental model known as the 4 Bs: inform, make conscious, unite, and integrate. Basically, every single moment of our journey in learning and making sense of the world needs to pass through this exact 4-stage filter. So, let's break these down. Moving right along to Section 3, True Information. This is the root of all our actions. Step 1 is to be accurately informed. Because, let's be honest, any human action built on a foundation of incorrect information is ultimately going to be flawed. Action is the fruit of knowledge, not the root. But what exactly is this knowledge, or ilm? Well, the classical linguist Ibn Faris defines it not just as raw data storage, but as tamyiz. That is an active cognitive process of distinguishing truth from falsehood. It's a classifying process. Think of it like this: just like your eye has to blur out the background to focus on a single object, or how your ear has to isolate one specific voice in a crowded room, true knowledge is the active cognitive act of isolating the truth. Now, here is the absolute crucial point. Knowledge is not the final destination. In this view, it is essentially a brilliant footnote placed beneath a much greater truth. Think about it like a finger pointing at the moon. We really should be looking at the moon, not just staring endlessly at the finger. Scientific knowledge, the physics of objects around us, none of these are the final stop. They're simply magnificent footnotes pointing back to a divine reality. Let's make this footnote idea super concrete. Consider looking at the sun. If you marvel only at its physics, its precise orbit and massive scale, and you just say, "You are magnificent," well, you independently create a false idol. You're stopping at the raw data. But marveling at its perfect distance, the fact that it neither freezes us nor burns us, and saying how beautifully you were created, well, that connects that physical data directly back to its divine origin. That is true knowledge. It doesn't sever the tie. It actually reinforces the connection to the owner. So, once we've gathered all this correct information, it naturally has to evolve. That brings us to Section 4, Achieving Consciousness, moving way beyond just raw data. Because if knowledge fails to cultivate deep consciousness, it remains mere data, and that is a truly tragic situation. It's literally like a tree whose gorgeous blossoms freeze and die before they ever get the chance to become fruit. I mean, without the fruit, what good were the blossoms in the first place? Without consciousness, what good is that massive database of facts you've just built up in your head? You can actually test this on yourself right now.
True knowledge reveals our immense limitations. The more you truly know, the more you realize how incredibly little you actually know. And that breeds profound humility. But raw, stagnant data that hasn't evolved into consciousness? That just fuels human arrogance. It makes a person entirely full of themselves.
And where does that arrogance even come from? Well, it stems entirely from treating knowledge like it's our own personal property, a possession we can just hoard. True knowledge, however, is a sacred trust. It's an emanate, a profound responsibility that we are ultimately accountable for returning to its owner with absolute honor. Someone who holds a sacred trust can't just sit still. They act with real purpose, knowing they are responsible for what they've been given.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, Unifying Knowledge. It's time to bridge that gap.
Our source material highlights a massive crisis in the modern world right now, an incredibly dangerous and destructive split. On one side, we have the highly knowledgeable but spiritually disconnected. On the exact opposite side, we have the devoutly religious but completely ignorant. This fatal separation between intellect and faith is exactly what leaves society drifting aimlessly without an anchor.
So how do we fix this? We have to completely tear down these artificial walls we've built between the sciences. When Scripture mentions signs, it doesn't just mean the written word on a page. Studying zoology is the active reading of animal signs. Exploring astronomy is reading the cosmic signs. Studying textual scripture is reading textual signs. They are all pieces of the exact same puzzle, and separating them is a massive mental fracture.
To embrace all these signs together requires what is beautifully called the holistic mind. Let's look at Section 6, the holistic mind, and how we embrace this unity.
If we look back through history, we see this holistic mind modeled absolutely perfectly by the great polymaths. Brilliant thinkers like Ibn Sina, Al-Ghazali, and Al-Farabi simply didn't separate physical science from theology. They acted as integrated masters of medicine, philosophy, and religion all at the exact same time. One person could author a massive treatise on musical notation, invent an instrument, and simultaneously be a master of jurisprudence. Why? Because they entirely refused to compartmentalize the knowledge reflecting off the divine mystery.
On the flip side, using knowledge to artificially divide these realms, severing the mind from the heart or matter from meaning, that is described as the ultimate form of corruption. It's a destructive separation. Any approach that traps you solely in the material world or solely in the spiritual world, while bypassing your intellect entirely, is severing a tie that was always meant to be whole. If knowledge is used merely to divide, it completely loses its value. After all, a standard computer hard drive holds way more raw data than a human ever could. So as we reflect on this profound four-step framework of informing, raising awareness, uniting, and integrating, we've got to look inward. Ask yourself this really critical question. Are you using your knowledge to sever ties, or are you using it to holistically integrate your mind, your heart, and the universe around you? Keep seeking the truth. Keep looking at the moon instead of the finger, and I'll see you in the next explainer.